Morning. All right.
Okay, hi everybody. Welcome to the EVA match briefing for Wales v Portugal. We have the Wales team with us. We have assistant coach Mike Forshaw, Tommy Raphael, and Johnny Williams. So we're ready to go. First question, please. Hands up for a microphone. Gareth.
Hello, question for Mike. Mike, do you want 250 tackles again, or as a defence coach, or would you be happy with less on the weekend?
Definitely don't want 250 tackles tomorrow, no. Obviously, it was a huge effort, but this team presents threats, so defensively we have to be ready to put a shift in as well.
Perhaps a similar question to the two players. Presumably you want to be doing a bit more attacking than the team did last week, and this should be a perfect opportunity for both of you.
Yeah, I'll answer. Yeah, for sure. It's a good opportunity for us to show what we're about in an attack. Of course, we don't want to be making 250 tackles again, but serious effort against those Fijians. You know, they're some of the hardest players individually to tackle in the world. So huge effort, but that attitude and that intent doesn't change this week. That stays there again, but hopefully with less tackles and we get more territory in possession this week. Yeah.
Can we just mention where you're from before you ask the question, please? Question?
Same question to you.
Hi, Nick Mullins, ITV Sport. Mike, question for you. I just wondered if you'd planned to use the water breaks in any particular way, whether you're getting the players to do things, think of things, what you're doing as coaches, or whether they're just to take on water.
No, I think it's a good point, Nick. It's a good question. I think the water breaks does give you an opportunity to get maybe a couple of fault correction messages on. You know, it's a great time to get a couple of maybe a message in defence and a message in attack. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of the water breaks, I'll be honest, but it does give you, we might as well utilise them, and that's one way that we can do.
Tommy, a question for you as well about the Portuguese back row, who look a bit of a handful if you give them the opportunity. What kind of things have you talked about this week, looking at the way they play?
Yeah, just looking at the way they play, the back row especially are really, really good over the ball. They like to play off of turnovers. They like, you know, to spread the ball wide, play some good rugby. So, you know, we've got to be really clinical around that breakdown area and, you know, sort of eliminate the threats that they pose.
Sorry, we're just going to be similar question to Tommy. We know what you like at the breakdown. We know how all that happens. Is this a chance to show maybe a different side to your game, not having to make 30-odd tackles?
Yeah, definitely. But we sometimes, if it comes down to that, you know, you have to do your role and do your job, and if that's tackling, and then that's what I'm there to do. But yeah, would I like to put my hands on the ball more? Of course I would. So. Obviously, we just have to see how the game goes, and hopefully there's a lot of opportunities in there to do so.
Mike, how do you approach this game when no one's giving Portugal a chance and people are talking about getting bonus points and points difference? Can that sometimes be tricky? We saw France struggle last night, didn't we? It's
a great point when we referenced the French game last night. It's very important we get messages from that because, you know, we're preparing for the best Portugal team we can do. We've got to do our basics well. Our basics, our effort based, our main effort, our chase, and, you know, give them the respect they deserve. But, you know, let's get it right. We want to impose ourselves on this team physically, but we're not getting ahead of ourselves. We realise this every game is going to be tough, and nothing changes in our preparation. You know, we'll just approach it like we approach Fiji.
And what strengths do Portugal bring? Because a lot of people at home won't have seen much or any of them.
Yeah, well, you know, you look in the backs, they've got quite a few sevens players. They like spraying the ball. They play that kind of coast-to-coast game. We've got to cut the supply off in that with our defence and our urgency to take space from them. Turnover ball, they'll just shift, and they'll play a little bit sevensy. So, again, you know, there's some similar threats to the Fijians. So we've got to be right on it, right on cue with our detail.
Johnny, you've seen the guys get a great win last weekend, bonus point win. 13 changes, how determined are you as a side coming in, having a chance to show yourself, just to keep that momentum going?
Yeah, it was. It was a hell of a win. As I said earlier, a serious effort as well. You know, watching from the stands, I was seriously gutted to be missing out on it. It was such an amazing game and an amazing atmosphere. But I'll get my chance this week personally, and a few of the other boys do. And you know, just because we've made changes, that doesn't mean anything changes in terms of how we play or the intensity and the physicality that we want to play with. That's part of our DNA. So it doesn't matter who we're playing, we're always going to bring that, and it doesn't matter who's in the side, we're always going to bring that. So yeah, for me personally, want to get back in the team. So it starts tomorrow.
Hi, Harry from The Independent. There's been a lot of talk about the slippery ball last weekend, and the forecast is pretty grim for tomorrow. Have you been doing anything specifically to prepare for that, putting soap on balls, anything of that sort?
Well, not really, because we've been training the heat over here. That you know, the lads are wet through with sweat anyway. The balls are greasy. I think one thing defensively, you can target under the ball. You saw last week we had some decent collisions where the ball split out the Fijians' hands, and we have a bit of a focus around that. And off the back of that is what we do when that does happen. Transition. It's an area where we can be a bit sharper to put the pressure back on. I always say that defence is the start of your attack. And, you know, it's a good point, and it's something that we'll have to deal with tomorrow.
How important then, if you're sort of talking about targeting the ball, is getting that tackle height spot on, given what happened last weekend with Tom Curry and a couple of other incidents?
Yeah, it's very important, you know, emotionally we've just got to be right around it. Technical lads do extras every practice on it, sharpeners on that area. You know, we've got to be real accurate. I know we bend from our hips on the tackle area. Tackle management is something we constantly refer to.
Are we doing any more questions? No, all good. Thank you very much, everybody.
Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.